weekly blowout at my hairdresser's, followed by a board meeting at the Getty Center and a late lunch with Gloria Zander, the CEO of Gloria's Secrets. The lingerie and founder of Girls Like Us, a small non-profit that helped abused girls. She was interested in working with me to help grow GLU. Our 2-hour lunch was fantastic. I admired Gloria, a stunning woman who'd risen from challenging beginnings like my own. She offered me a job, and I told her I would think about it. I frankly wasn't sure Matt would approve. The lunch went on for longer than I anticipated, but I had just enough time to pick up Tanya after school to take her shopping. I texted Paige to meet us, but she already had some after-school activity, as did Will. As I drove over Coldwater Canyon, I wondered how our exchange students' first day at Coldwater Academy had gone. Starting a new school, let alone in a new country, couldn't be easy, especially high school. Thankfully, she had Paige to show her the ropes, and maybe Lance had too. I was excited to hear about her day, and equally excited to take her shopping. It had been so long since I'd gone on a mother-daughter shopping spree, as Paige preferred to buy everything online or haunt thrift stores and flea markets that repulsed me. Goodwill was a thing of my past that I cared not to revisit. Only one worry crept into my head as I drove to the school: that I might run into Alexa Roth, the mother of one of Paige's classmates. To say we had a falling out would be an euphemism. She had very nearly ruined my life. My dread dissipated as I pulled into the Coldwater parking lot and found a spot. Alexa and her showy red Bentley were nowhere in sight. A smile crossed my face as I searched for Tanya. She wasn't my daughter, but I'd felt an instant connection and already loved spending time with her. She was a breath of fresh air. Despite the horde of kids pouring out of the school at the sound of the dismissal bell, I spotted her immediately. With her tall, lanky golden beauty, she stood out in the crowd. I honked my horn and called out her name, and waved. Upon catching sight of me, she broke into a smile and sprinted my way. "Hi," she said brightly, gushed Tanya, buckling up. I'm so excited to take a drive in it. You're going to love it. I let her know there was a pair of sunglasses in the glove compartment. Adjusting her seatbelt, she opened the box and put them on. The Ralph Lauren aviators looked great on her, and I told her so. How did your first day at Coldwater go? I asked, as we pulled out of the parking lot and headed down the canyon towards Ventura Boulevard. It was fantastic. I'm in lots of the same classes as Paige, and a few with Lance. Lance was like a big brother and showed me all around. He also introduced me to some of his cute friends, though he's pretty cute himself. You really grew up a lot this summer, I said, reflecting on how surprised I was to see him this morning. I almost didn't recognize him. Tan and filled out, he was a good-looking young man. I didn't like to admit it, but what he saw in Paige bewildered me. But maybe he saw something in her I didn't. It pained me to realize I hardly knew my second daughter, another thing I wasn't proud of. How long have he and Paige been together? Almost 2 years. They hooked up beginning of sophomore year. He had just transferred to Coldwater from another private school. I paused. And she had just lost her sister the May before. That must have been terrible. I mean, your daughter dying. Yes, it was. I needed to change the subject. With the wind blowing in my face and in such good company, I was in a happy place and wanted to stay there. So, are you excited about going shopping? Super excited. I've never had a mom to go shopping with. At her words, my heart pinched. I knew how hard it was to grow up without a mother. Mine might as well have been that. The honk of a horn behind me jolted me out of my thoughts. The red light we'd stopped at had turned green and I hadn't moved. The guy behind me honked again. Bug off, asshole, I yelled. Yeah, bug off, asshole, Tanya mimicked in a charming British accent. In unison, we flipped him off as he zipped around us, and we shared a good laugh before turning onto Ventura. As we drove toward Hollywood, I pointed out a few sights. The Hollywood Bowl, which we passed, and the famous Hollywood sign in the distance. Tanya, not impressed, thought it would be bigger. Urban Outfitters was located on trendy Melrose Avenue, 5 minutes away from our house. I readily found nearby parking on a side street and, arm in arm, we skipped to the popular store. I felt like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. There was a Starbucks across the street. Do you want to get coffee first? No, I'm good. I really can't wait to go shopping. What do you need? Everything. I laughed, while I assumed that she had a debit card and that her father, the diplomat, had given her spending money. I was going to treat her to a new wardrobe. We wouldn't miss the money, and it would give me an enormous pleasure. 1 hour later, we were shopped out. Each of us was carrying 2 bags full of clothes, plus some sexy lingerie that Tanya insisted I buy when she saw me eyeing the lacy garments. I bet Matt will really like them. addressed to me. She gave me a perplexed look. What are you talking about? I pointed my finger at her. Those overalls, they're mine. I bought them online from Urban Outfitters. Jill, they're mine. Your mom bought them for me at the Urban. We went shopping together this afternoon. It was so much fun. She breezed by me. Maybe we could both wear them to school and we'll be like twins. I gritted my teeth. No freaking way. The overalls made her look like a 17 magazine cover girl. They probably make me look fat and washed out. My blood rolling, I picked up my backpack and humped it up the stairs, taking 2 steps at a time. Tanya called out to me from below. Do you want to see what else your mom bought me? I can put on a fashion show. No, thank you. It wouldn't surprise me if she sneaked into my room this morning while I was in the shower, somehow accessed my account, and copied everything I'd purchased just to piss me off. When I reached the 2nd floor landing, I pulled off my phone from my backpack and managed to cancel the order before it shipped. I'm going to help your mom make dinner, I heard her say as I put my phone away, something I now had to guard carefully along with my laptop. Will you help me with my calculus homework after we eat? Not answering her, I stomped to my room and locked the door behind me, as well as the door to the bathroom we shared. More urgently than ever, I needed to get a new knob for the hallway door. One that enabled me to also lock it from the outside. Maybe tomorrow I do that. Or have Will bike over to the hardware store to pick up one for me. He knew exactly what to buy. At least, right now I was safe away from her. She couldn't get into my room. I should start my homework, but I couldn't concentrate on it even if I tried. She was on my mind, consuming every thought. I hated the way she was sucking up to my mother, my father, and my boyfriend. Lance showing her around school today was bad enough, but sharing his tuna sandwich with her at lunch had almost made me barf. Kicking off my perks, I plunked down on my bed. My father always said to succeed in business, you need to know your enemies, plain and simple. Tanya might act all nice and sweet around me, but she was my enemy. What did I know about her? The truth is, hardly anything. All I knew was that she was British, born in London, and as the only child. Her father was a diplomat who traveled a lot, and her mother had died in a childbirth. Oh, and she was 17 and went to some fancy smancy boarding school. Oddly, I did not find her on social media when I checked during free period. Not Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok. Every teenage girl I knew, even me, was at least on IG. Why wasn't she? Maybe her diplomat father forbade her. I pulled out my laptop from my backpack along with a spiral notebook and lead pencil. My mother had gone online and ordered a boatload of school supplies for me and Will as well as Tanya, so we wouldn't have to go to was a tech whiz and could likely hack into anyone's account. I thought about sneaking into her room, but didn't think there'd be enough time. And I sure as hell didn't want her to catch me snooping around. I'd have to figure out a way to get her out of the house for a few hours, and maybe I'd have Will join me as my partner in crime. With that in mind, I embarked on my investigation and Googled Blackstone English diplomat. There were a lot of entries for some private equity company, whatever that was, called Blackstone, but nothing fitting my description. After scrolling for a minute, a possibility came up. Sir Warren Blackstone. Excitedly, I clicked on it. I read the brief description of his diplomatic career. Most significantly, he was dead. He had died in a private plane crash 5 years ago. I did not list any of next of kin of survivors. Weird. I heard my dad's car pull into the driveway and glanced at the time. Like clockwork, he was home at 6 o'clock. He'd wash up and unwind with a scotch for a half an hour, and then, at 6:30 sharp, we'd all sit down for dinner. I had a little time to do more research. I decided to double-check Tanya's social media presence. Once again, nothing on Facebook, Snapchat, or TikTok, but to my surprise, she now had an Instagram account. Her handle at Tanya BT Dreamer. She'd posted a dozen photos of my sister's room with the hashtags #ThinkPink, #HomeSweetHome, and #PrincessLivesHere. Numerous selfies posing in her new outfits with the hashtags Supermodel, Urban Girl, and LA Girl. Several with my mother on their shopping outing with the hashtag Shopaholics. Shopaholics. Fashionistas and like mother, like daughter. And finally, one last photo of Lance with the hashtag Hottie, Boyfriend Material, and Coldwater Academy, which would likely draw the attention of every student. Classmates were already posting obnoxious comments like, "Go for him, you look hot together, take down his rude brood," and God knows what they would say to my face tomorrow. The audacity of her, and to top things off, Lance was following her, yet another one of her fast-growing army of hundreds. "Dinner's ready," I heard my mother call out. So furious I had no appetite. On top of that, my mind was spinning with the question, why hadn't Tanya ever posted on Instagram before today? 8. Natalie. I was looking forward to another family dinner. Tonight I made herb-crusted salmon following a simple recipe from my favorite cookbook, The Barefoot Contessa. I had also made a lovely lemon vinaigrette salad with the hearts of palm strawberries and bib lettuce, as well as a big batch of pasta with fresh chopped tomatoes, basil, and olive oil. I was being mindful of Paige's new diet, had even bought a few vegan cookbooks online, and although she'd likely boo the salmon, thank God it wasn't a whole fish that had eyes, she could indulge in the salad and pasta. It had been so much fun to have Tanya in the kitchen as my helper, and she had a knack for making everything we plated look so pretty. Like both my daughters and myself, she had an artistic flair. Matt, for the first time in ages, complimented my meal, and I told him Tanya had helped me prepare it, admitting the fact we downed an entire bottle of Sauvignon Blanc in the process. With a nod of approval, Matt first day at Coldwater. She animatedly told him all about it, not leaving out a detail. He was pleased it had gone well. When he asked Paige and Will about their day, they replied in unison with three monotone words. It was okay. Paige's head stayed bowed as she picked at her salad and twirled her pasta with her fork. Paige, is everything okay? I'm not hungry. I don't think you're eating enough. She's missing out, piped in Tanya, helping herself to seconds. Can someone please pass me the pasta? Matt obliged and commented on how cute Tanya's outfit was. Paige crinkled her nose while our exchange student beamed, her eyes twinkling. Thanks, Mr. Merritt. Matt. Natalie took me to Urban Outfitters after school. We had so much fun shopping. She even bought you a present. Matt's brow shot up. Oh, really? What? Matt's brow shut up. Oh, really? What? Tanya winked. You'll have to find out for yourself. My husband's eyes met mine, and for the first time in ages, I felt a spark of excitement. Wearing the sexy lace lingerie I'd purchased today, I squeezed my legs together under the table to quell the tingly sensation. God, it felt good. Made me think of all the good times and the first time we met. As if Tanya had been reading my mind, she asked, How did the two of you meet? My breath hitched in my throat. I took a long sip of my wine, and so did Matt. His eyes glinted with a hint of desire, and he twitched a wry smile. I think he was reminiscing about our first encounter. Come on, coaxed Tanya. Tell, I really want to know. I bet it was really romantic. Paige and Will exchanged eye rolls. Do we seriously have to hear this story again? Asked Paige. We told it countless times, at holiday gatherings, dinner parties, family picnics. Annabelle the romantic could never get enough of it. Paige the cynic had grown sick of it. Will quite frankly didn't care one way or another. It was love at first sight, my husband began, setting down his wine glass and ignoring Paige's protest. Really? Asked Tanya, all starry-eyed. Yes, I replied. Lust was more like it. Where did you meet? Matt answered. Here in Los Angeles, at a toy expo. Thank God he didn't say an erotica fest filled with sex toys exhibitors. Is LA where you're both from? No, said Matt. I'm from San Francisco, Nob Hill. Snob Hill, I mused as he continued. My parents still live there, and Nat's from Palm Springs. Well, that's what I told him, and the kids. It was close enough. How did the two of you meet? Nat was assisting the company that I was thinking of investing in at the trade show, demonstrating the big breakthrough product they've developed. I was in VC at the time. Venture capitalism, said our exchange student proudly. Matt looked impressed. You're a smart girl, Tanya. I'm sure neither Will or Paige would have known that. Sitting side by side, Paige and Will exchanged a look as if they were silently communicating with one another. To my frustration, they did this often. Obviously to them, Tanya carried on. I saw that on your LinkedIn profile and looked it up. I found it a tad uncomfortable that Tanya had researched us, but I suppose and see the photos of me and Matt at the many $500 a plate benefits I'd hosted. Thankfully, she'd never been able to find anything about me prior to our marriage. I successfully buried my past under layers of lies. Had Matt known about it, I'd never be where I was. Who knows how my life would have turned out? Happily ever after is not promised to those who come through the school of hard knocks, especially someone like me. I was a trade show model, I interjected, getting back to the story. Sometimes I used to do adult stuff, the box too great to pass up, though I hated every minute. The money allowed me to transform myself, straighten my teeth, lighten my hair, buy some decent clothes, get a place of my own far away from where I grew up. Matt had no clue. Tanya's eye widened. Whoa, you were a model. Because when I went online, I didn't see you in any runway shows or fashion magazines. I let out a nervous laugh. Why would I lie? The hypocrisy of my words ate at me. I was a 24/7 living lie. Tanya persevered. Did you model under your maiden name? Yes, Natalie Taylor. Another lie. Thankfully, Natalie Taylor had no online presence. Well, at least that Natalie Taylor. Now, some TikTok singing sensation shared my name. Matt went on, and I must say that having him talking about me, about us, was kindling a flame of desire inside me. Reliving every vivid second, I squirmed in my seat as he told Tanya more about our first encounter, leaving out the graphic details about how I demonstrated the toy, how animated I was, how convincing I was, how seductive I was. I sold him not only on the company but also on me. He asked me out for dinner, and after dinner, he invited me for a nightcap in his hotel room. And the rest was history. After a whirlwind romance, he married me, eloping to Vegas despite his estranged, controlling mother. 9 months later, I gave birth to Annabelle. For the first time in years, before they excused themselves, Matt told the children they could go upstairs. Paige and Will readily complied, but Tanya insisted on helping me with the dishes. No need, Tanya, said Matt. It's my turn to help my wife out tonight. With a coy smile, she slunk away. Matt and I remained seated facing each other. After a few awkward silent moments, I stood up and began to clear the table. Stop, Matt commanded. I couldn't remember the last time I heard that tone of voice. had to do was reignite his fire. So that was that for part 3. Thank you for watching and listening, and I will hope to see you next time with part